Okay, so before we start, okay, morning we had one session and it was about the basic understanding of Tally. So hope those who attended this, you got all your queries clarified, and I hope that you have all installed Tally onto your desktops or laptops and you have tried out. Those who have not tried it out yet, my strong recommendation is please install Tally, run Tally on educational version. Those who already have Tally, please use the same Tally and just create one company and start using it. Okay, so before we get into today's topic, okay, let me just take you on through the topics that we want to cover in next 14 days. So the first session is complete. This first session morning we completed this first session. Okay, so I'm just marking it in color. Okay, so now we are in the current session. So the today's session is about accounting masters and accounting vouchers. How to create accounting masters, how to create accounting vouchers in Tally is what today in this session we will talk about. Okay, so tomorrow we have inventory masters and inventory vouchers. We'll see how to create those things. Okay, in the second session we will discuss about receivables and payables management, that is bill wise details, how to track the receivables and payables. And on 1st of April, we will cover on multi-currency and budgets and variance. And on 2nd of April, we will cover on cost center and profit centers in Tally. How to use this cost centers and profit centers. Let us look at that. On 3rd of April, we will look at expense accounting, both accrual and cash basis. And the final reporting in Tally on basically like balance sheet, profit and loss, ratio analysis, sales registers, purchase register, different registers, different reports basically, which is basically the final report. Okay, on the 4th we will talk about advanced voucher management. Okay, on 5th we will see how to do the purchase order management and sale order management, including the order raising, receipt and issue of materials, accounting of bills, okay, and making payments and receipts. On 6th, we will discuss on credit limits and interest calculations in Tally. On 7th and 8th, we will cover complete GST. Okay. On 9th, we will talk about see the advanced inventory management, how to do that on Tally. And on 10th, we will look at how Tally can be used by manufacturers. On 11th, we will see how Tally can be used by service businesses. And on 12th, we will look at the TDS in Tally, tax deducted at source. On 13th, we will discuss on advanced MIS reporting on Tally. And on 14th, we will discuss on working Tally for multiple companies and from multiple locations. So these are all the topics that we will be covering over next 2 weeks. Okay, so I'll be sharing this topic details to everyone. Okay, please leave your email address so that we will be able to share these topics and you know upfront what are all the topics that we are discussing. So there's a question from Divya Rao. Are there 2 sessions in a day? Yes, absolutely. There will be 2 sessions in a day, and these 2 sessions will be of different topics. We generally will not cover it is not a repeat of these sessions. Okay, these are all different sessions. So one is at 10 o'clock, morning 10 o'clock, 10 to 11. It might get extended by 15-20 minutes. And second is at 4 o'clock, 4 to 5. Again, based on the questions, it might get extended by 15-20 minutes. So we are planning to do this for next 14-15 days so that we could cover all the topics in Tally. Okay, so the objective, as I told you in the morning, it's very clear, saying that first thing is we want to share the knowledge, whatever the things that we have, and we believe that will help you in your day-to-day activities in increasing your efficiencies. Okay, so is this clear? Okay, so let's move on. Let us just move on. Let me come back to the presentation. Okay. And one more thing, request from each one of you, please do not use the markers to write on the screen. Okay, typically it gets blur and people will not be able to see the whole screen. If you have any queries, please type on your chat box. Okay, we will look at all your queries and we'll revert back to you. Okay, don't use any markers or any digital markers on your screens. Okay, so today the purpose of this training, as I told you, okay, one is we want to share the knowledge. We want to use this lockdown period effectively so that we could help you to learn Tally. Okay, and which will help you in doing your work more efficiently. Okay, leading to increased efficiency and eliminate duplication of work. So I was just talking to a few of the participants in the morning. Okay, what I understood is one thing that most of the participants, almost every participant, wants is they want to complete their work within time. Okay, so they say that, okay, we don't want to sit after office hours and do our work. So we want to complete our work within time and move on. So we are trying to address that so that you are more knowledgeable on the Tally software, okay, which will help you in your day-to-day work. Okay. So today's topic is accounting masters and vouchers in Tally. So in the morning session, we discussed about broadly Tally could be used by only for accounting purpose or accounts along with the inventory. So in most of the organization where the inventories are not maintained in Tally, especially the service industries where they don't have the products, they don't deal with the products, they just deal with only services. Okay, they will use only accounting features of Tally. Okay, so first let us go through the basic accounting features of Tally. In the tomorrow's session, we will also go through the inventory features of Tally. So first, if any organization wants to use only accounting, okay, how it could be done. So if we could understand this, then from the next session, it will become easier for us to understand along with inventory. So in the accounting features of Tally, okay, two things that you need to be very clear. Okay, Mr. Reggie Joseph is requesting all the participants who are on the video to close down the video. It will take a lot of bandwidth. So as the number of participants are more today, okay, there are almost 69-70 participants. I request everyone to switch off your video. Anyhow, you could see our screens. Okay, so let us move on to accounting masters. So in the morning session, we looked at, okay, as we move on to Tally, okay, we looked at if we want to use only accounting, okay, how we could do that. Very simple. On your Tally, gateway of Tally, click on F11 features, accounting features. The first option is maintain accounts only, make this as yes. By default, it will be no. Make this as yes and save. Control A is for save in Tally. So once when you save that, on your gateway of Tally, you just see two screens. You just see accounting menus. Inventory menus gets disappeared. Okay. So when you create a new company in Tally, when you create a new database in Tally, Tally creates a lot of inbuilt masters. So that we call it as groups and ledgers. Okay, groups are nothing but a summary of multiple ledgers. Okay, you could have one single ledger or more than one ledger under a group. Okay, and ledgers are the last leaf. Basically, ledgers are the last entity where you account the transactions. Okay, so first let us go to groups. So in groups, when you enter the groups, in the new company when you create, okay, there are around 28 groups that are default created as part of your new database. So based on your reporting structure, okay, how your balance sheet should get reported, how your P&L should get reported, based on that, the reports, based on the reports, this masters of groups has already been created in Tally. So if you want to look at that, you could just go to from gateway of Tally, go to accounts info, groups, and display. So there are almost 28 groups that are default available in Tally. Okay, and these groups are already configured. Say example, if you just go to bank account, okay, so you could look at here, the bank account is under current assets. Okay, so this under what it is very important. So one basic thing that you need to have an understanding is any groups can be under any of the 4 categories. So what are these 4 categories? Either it can be an asset, or it can be a liability, or it can be an income, or it can be an expenditure. So ultimately there are only 4 major heads for your accounting purpose: assets, liabilities, income, or expenditure, right? So in default Tally, once when you look at, hope everyone is able to see my screen. Okay, once when you look at Tally, so if you just go to accounts info, and there is a lot of shortcut keys here. Okay, once when you look at the screen, you might notice that in the master, when you go to accounts info, A is in red color. If you come to transaction, V is in red color, O is in red color, N is in red color. So these are all the shortcut keys that you could use. So for accounts info, you could just say A on your keyboard. It will go to accounts info, groups, display. If you want to see the display of the existing one, if you want to create a new one, you could just go and click on create. Or if you want to alter the existing one, you could just click on alter and alter any of these things. Okay, so let us just go to display, look at it. Say example, bank account. Bank account is coming under current assets. Now let me look at where current assets is coming under. Current assets is coming under primary, and it is under nature of group is asset. Okay, so example, if you just look at this Excel, okay, so there is current asset. Under current assets, there is bank account. Under current assets, there is cash in hand, there is deposits, loans and advances, stock in hand, sundry debtors. So these are all coming under current assets. So these are all the groups that are default created in Tally. So once when you open and create a new company, there are 28 groups that are default or created. If you want to see all the groups in one screen, just go to display and list of accounts. Once when you go to list of accounts, on the right hand side, you have a shortcut button called groups. Click on this groups. So you are able to see all the groups that are default created in Tally. Okay, all these groups, either they are liabilities or assets or income or expenditure. Ultimately, it can fall under any of these categories. Okay, so this basic idea that you need to have, I assume that most of you know the basics of accounting, the debit credit, the general principles of accounting, golden rules of Tally, golden rules of accounting. So some of the basic things I assume that you people know, so that it becomes easy for you to understand. Okay, so example, if I just say reserves and surplus. So if you just click on reserves and surplus, it is under capital account. Okay, so capital account, if you look at here, it is under primary, which is basically liabilities. You could see here, the nature of the group is liabilities. Okay, here it is under capital, so capital is under liabilities, so reserves and surplus also falls under liability. Similarly, if you take current assets, the nature of group is asset. Okay, so it falls under the asset category. So ultimately, I've just drawn it on the Excel. If you just understand this, okay, these are all the standard groups that's available in Tally. Okay, now if you want to create any new groups, you could create yourself. So like example, under fixed assets, I have multiple groups. So like example, I have plant and machinery, I have land and building as different groups. You will be able to create that. You could go and create that. To create the new groups, come to accounts info, groups, create. Say example, I'll say plant and machinery. It comes under what? So here you could select under fixed assets. Okay, and save this. Then example, I'll say land and building. This also comes under fixed assets. Done. Okay, then under investments, okay, example, I'll say stocks and shares. Under investments, I'll just select investments. So like this, any number of groups you can go on creating. Okay, now if you look at which are all the groups you have created, okay, you could just go to display, list of accounts. Okay, and click on groups. Here it's available. Say example, this thing we created under fixed assets, we created land and building, plant and machinery. Under investment, we created stock and shares. So like this, any number of groups and subgroups you could create by yourself. Is this clear? So this is the basic thing. This is required for your reporting purpose. Based on the reportings, okay, you could create your, based on the reporting requirements, you could design your own groups. Okay, so ultimately that is what will matter. Okay, based on these groups, you will be able to draw your reporting system. Okay, so that is your first. Right? Okay. So the groups is the first one. Is there any questions in this? How to create groups or how to alter the existing groups? Is there any queries? If there is any questions, please type on your chat box. Okay, so could we move to the next topic, ledgers? Okay, so before moving to ledgers, okay, there are few more things on the group. Say once when you want to create a new group. So like example, I'll just say debentures as a group, which comes under capital account. So here you have an option, groups behaves as subledger. Okay, if you enable this on the reporting system, you will get it in a separate, under that you can get that. For reporting, do you want the debit credit balance reporting or do you need net balance reporting? So example, the report, the group has 5 ledgers of debit value and 3 ledgers of credit value. How do you want to look at it? Do you want to look at both debit value and credit values, or you want to look at the net off of this debit and credit values? So that is what you could enable. If you want net off, make this as yes. Then use these calculations for tax discounts or sales invoicing. Basically, if the groups you want to have for calculation purpose, say example, I'll tell you. One example is basically when you are doing a purchase of material or purchase of any of the items, you might have some additional cost on the purchase that you want to apportionate it to your cost of the goods. In those cases, you could use this. Okay, so that is where you could actually use this method to allocate while used in purchases, appropriate by quantity or by value. Okay, so in this example it may not be relevant. Okay, so example, I have a purchase local as one group and I put it under purchase accounts. Here I could come and say, if there are any methods of allocation during the purchase entry, if any ledgers are being used, okay, how do you apportionate this? Apportionate it by value or by quantity. So this could be also be used. Okay, is that clear? Okay. So once when you create the groups, okay, so let me just give you one more example for groups. So I've seen a lot of organization based on their reporting purpose. Okay, so sundry debtors will have multiple groups. Okay, so like example, I have sundry debtors who are my customers basically. I want to break these customers for reporting purpose into north, east, west, south based on this zone. And in each zone, I have states. Say example, in south, I have Karnataka, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. Okay, in west, I have Maharashtra, Goa, Gujarat in the west. Okay, in the east, I have West Bengal, Seven Sister States, Bihar, Orissa, okay, Jharkhand. So I have this as my east. In north, I have Delhi, UP, Haryana, Rajasthan, Jammu Kashmir, Leh Ladakh. Okay, so I might have subgroups. Under each of the state, I might have districts. Under districts, I might have my sales people. So if I want to create that, those could also be done. Okay, I'll show you one simple way to do it. So you have something called multiple groups. You could just go here. Say example, I'm just saying my first level is under sundry debtors. Okay, say example, I'll just say sundry debtors east, sundry debtors west, sundry debtors north, sundry debtors south, and sundry debtors central. This is at the first level, right? So now every time I need not go to individuals and start creating. Here we have a grid view. In the grid view, you can go and create all this debtors at one shot. So now if you look at my groups under sundry debtors, see here you have under sundry debtors central, east, north, south, west. All right, so all these things I have created at one shot. Now under each of these things, so I have multiple states, different states under each of these things. So if I want to create that, again I could go to accounts info, groups, multiple create. Okay, say example, I'll just select sundry debtors. Okay, say Karnataka. Okay, sorry, I need to go to sundry debtors south. Okay, Kerala, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so like this I could go on having, which are all the states that is there. Tamil Nadu, right? Similarly, for north, sundry debtors north, I could have Delhi, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Leh Ladakh, Okay, then I have Rajasthan. Okay, which are all the Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. So similarly, whatever the states that I have, I could just save this. Say example, I'll say Sundry Debtors West. I have Maharashtra, Goa, Gujarat. Okay. Similarly, for Sundry Debtors Central, I have Madhya Pradesh. Say example, I'm just taking Chhattisgarh also as part of the central. Okay. Whichever the other states, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand is on east basically. Okay. Okay. So let me just take few for east also. Sundry Debtors East. West Bengal, Orissa, Bihar, Jharkhand, Assam, whatever the states, you could name whatever the states that you want. Okay, so now all these groups that I've created, if you want to just go and look at how this has got grouped, okay, you could just go to groups, click on this groups. So here you are able to see there is Sundry Debtors under current assets. So the first level is current asset. Under current assets, you have Sundry Debtors. Under Sundry Debtors, you have Sundry Debtors Central. Under Central, you have Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. Under East, you have different states. Under North, you have different states. Under South, you have different states. Under West, you have different states. Is this clear? Similarly, if you want to have, under that, you want to have districts. Again, you could go to groups. Okay, if you have multiple districts, say example, I'll just say, under Karnataka. Okay, I have Bangalore, Mysore, Hubli, Dharwad. Okay, then Belgaum, Haveri, whatever the districts that you want. Mangalore, you could name. Okay, similarly, under Tamil Nadu, okay, you have Chennai. Okay, you have Salem, you have Hosur, Madurai. Okay, then Dindigul, Coimbatore. Similarly, you could go on having different districts. So look, if you look at again the groups, you have the same thing. Say example, you come to South. So you have Sundry Debtors South, under you have Karnataka, you have each district as. So you could, so what I'm trying to explain is you could have any number of subgroups. There is no limit for this. Okay, under district, again, you could have blocks. Each talukas you could have. Under each talukas, you could have your representatives. All those things could be done. Okay, so example, I'll just show you. Okay, so under a group, I will just say multiple create under Mysore. You have Nanjangud, you have T Narsipura. Okay, you have Hunsur. So these are all basically talukas that you could have. Okay. Bannur. So like this, you could name it, you could have these things. Okay, now under this, you could have ledgers. So if you just look at, I'm sorry, just look at this group. So here you will be able to see here. So there is Sundry Debtors South, Karnataka. Under that you have district Mysore. Under Mysore you have. So this is just an example I'm giving. Based on your requirement, you could create the way that you want. Is this clear? So you could have any number of subgroups. Okay. So now once when you are clear about how to create the groups, the next is the ledger. So the ledger is typically the last leaf. When we talk of last leaf, under ledger you can't create anything. The ledger is the last one where you link the two in your voucher entry. Okay, so now let us see how to create ledgers. Okay, so let us just understand how to create ledgers. So let me just go to Tally. For creating groups, we went to accounts info groups. For creating ledgers, we need to go to accounts information and ledger. So in ledger, again, you have all three things: create, display, alter, multiple create, display, and alter. Okay, so now let me just go to create. So what are all the basic ledgers that you need? Okay, so in default Tally, if you look at, once when you create a new company, only two ledgers are default created. One is cash, the second is the profit and loss account. Any other ledgers you need to create based on your need. Okay, whichever the ledgers that you need for your business, you need to understand that and you need to create based on that. So let me just create some of the ledgers. Okay, so example, if I just go to accounts info, ledger, create. So example, I'll just tell it's a bank account. I need to create one bank account, HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank account. Once when I create bank account, here I need to tag under which group it comes. It is linked to which group. So all your group, whatever the groups that you have created and the default groups, all those things are listing over here. You could link this to any of the groups, appropriate groups that you need to link. So in this case, it is my bank accounts. Okay, because HDFC is a bank account that I have. So I'm just linking this to bank account, and typically bank account is linked to current assets. So that is what we saw in our Excel sheet, right? So in the Excel sheet, bank account is coming under current asset. So that is what it is showing on your Tally also. When you select bank account, it says it's coming under current asset. Once when you select current asset under bank account, then it is asking for banking details like bank holder's name. Say example, I've just created Saraswati Traders. So it is account name is also showing us Saraswati Traders. Bank account number. So I'm just keying in the account number. You need to key in the right account number. IFSC code, because today most of the transaction happens digitally. You do online payments, everything. So it's important that you capture all these details. Okay. Once when you type in your key in your IFSC, then it is asking which bank you need to link this to. So all the banks are listed out. Say example, you could look at, there are 580 banks listing out. Okay, you could go and select the appropriate bank. So I'll just say it is State Bank of India. So as I type this, it is getting shortlisted. This is my bank and which branch. Malleshwaram, Bangalore. Then for your banking configuration, you could set up checkbooks. So generally, if you have the checkbook in hand and you want to track which are the check leaves that is being given, which are the check leaves laying with us. Okay, you could also have the checkbook configured. Okay, so checkbooks starts from number. Okay, it's asking for this. So I'm just saying 1000001 to 1000050. So number of check leaves is 50 and book is, I'm just saying book 1. If you have multiple books, you could configure all these things. Okay, you could also configure the check printing configuration. So when you make a payment in Tally, automatically the checks could be printed. So you could also enable this. This will come to the later stage. And you could also set up for doing bank reconciliations. Okay, then you could give the address, the basic details of the contact details and everything. Save this. Your bank account is saved. So now if you go to display, you have 3 accounts. So the bank account is already there, what we created over here. Accordingly, you could go on creating any number of ledgers that you need. So one important thing that you need to understand is once when you go to ledger, when you create a ledger, say example, I'm just saying, so I'm just creating one customer by name MBMS Smart Innovators. Okay, so under which group it comes? So example, they come under Bangalore, that is sundry debtors, South, Karnataka, and in under Karnataka they are under Bangalore. Now here it will ask the different details because we have taken it as sundry debtors. So it is asking, do you want to maintain bill by bill details? Generally, yes, for all our customers and suppliers, we want to maintain bill wise details. Okay, is there any credit period? So default credit period, how many credit days you want to allow? 15 days of credit. Okay, check during entry. Do you want to ensure that the credit days are checked during entry? That is the one. Then you could give all the address details. First floor, 11th cross, Malleshwaram, Bangalore. Okay, pin code. See, all these things are not mandatory. These are all optionals. If you have these details, you just key in that so that it becomes easy for you to refer tomorrow. So I'm just giving these details, and you could also mention PAN details. Okay, and if they have any opening balance, if there is any opening balance for this ledger, okay, you could key in, say example, I'm just saying 25,000 is the opening balance. Then it will ask for the bill wise details. Bill number 1010. Okay, it is due by 31st March 2019. So I could have the breakup of this. Say example, I could just say it's 4,000, 31/3/19, 1020. Okay, so I could have 15,000. So like this, I could go on having the breakups if I need. Okay, so these are all the bill wise details I have, and I'm just saving this master. Okay, so now if I just look at one more ledger has got created. So you could just go and view this ledger. Okay, so the options that comes under while creating the ledger depends on which group you are using. Say example, I'm just saying Saraswati capital account. So this comes under capital account. Now if you look at the options, none of these options are coming over here on the left hand side, because since you have selected capital account, we don't need any bill wise details or anything. We just need only the name and address. Okay, so if you have all those details, you could give. Otherwise you could just say Control A is for accepting, that is saving in Tally. If you want, if you just say Control A, it gets saved. Okay, so now if you look at, so I have got one more ledger. So like this, you could go on creating any number of ledgers that you need to start your books of accounts. Is this clear? Do you have any questions? So if there are any questions, please put it on chat. Okay. Okay, so there is a question saying, can we create multiple ledgers as groups simultaneously? Yes, Sunanda, I could just create multiple ledgers as we created the groups. We'll show it to you how to do it. Gopal Krishna is asking, can you just repeat the bill-wise breakup once again? Yes, sir, we will do that. Okay, Gangadhar is asking, allow individuals to record the session. Gangadhar, I told you in the morning also, we don't have any problem. The only issue is about the bandwidth. See, if you just look at here, currently there are some 70 participants who have joined this. Okay, if we start recording these sessions, the bandwidth will get choked. That's the reason we are not doing the record of these sessions. Okay, but we will try, we will see how to do that. Okay, from the next sessions, we will try how if we can accommodate the recording of these sessions. Okay, so two things. One, how to create multiple ledgers. Okay, the second is someone is asking to repeat this bill-wise breakup. My request to each one of you, please do not use digital markers to mark on the screen. Please do not use digital markers. It is just cluttering the screens and no one is able to see this. My humble request, please do not use digital markers. Okay, so now let us just go and see how to create ledgers, multiple ledgers as we created groups. Say example, I'm just saying under Mysore, I need to create 5 different customers. Anand Traders. What's the opening balance? Say example 30,000 is my opening balance. So here I could give the bill-wise details. So there was one question to show the bill-wise details once again. Okay, I'm just showing here. Okay, so 20,000, I'm just giving this breakup. 10,000. Okay, so then I can say it is Royal Agencies 10,000. Okay, then I have Chaitra Consultants 15,000. Okay, so like this I could go on creating multiple ledgers and save it at once. So once when I do that, you could just go to display, list of accounts. Here you could see, say example, we created Saraswati capital account under reserves and surplus. Okay, and if you come to Mysore, under Mysore you have Anand Traders, Chitra Consultants and Royal Agencies, right? So like this you could create multiple users, and I believe that the bill-wise breakup, how to enter the bill-wise breakup was clear. Yes, you could create multiple ledgers under the same group simultaneously. Yes, it is possible. Show bill-wise breakup once again. So those who are marking on the screens, can you please go and erase it? Okay, the screens are getting cluttered. Yeah, please go and erase all the markings that you have done. Yeah, thank you. Sir Gangadhar, we will see how to configure this. I think we need to make some setting changes. Okay, we'll see for the tomorrow session, we'll certainly ensure that we will allow people to record if they want. Okay, I need to anyhow check with the bandwidth. I'll be able to confirm you only after this session. Those who have missed the morning sessions, okay, I can tell you there was only the basic things that was discussed. Okay, if you could just discuss with those who have attended, or I could see if we can repeat that session. Any of my colleagues can take you through that session. If anyone wants to attend, we will revert back to you on this. Okay, so let's just go once again. Participants are asking for to show the bill-wise breakup, how to enter this bill-wise breakup. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, create one more ledger. Example, I'm just saying one supplier. Let me just create one supplier called Mohan Bandar. Okay, so there are suppliers. So they come under sundry creditors. Maintain bill-wise details, address, all these things that you could update. Okay, the balance, say here is where you need to key in the opening balance. So once when you key in the opening balance, since you have enabled bill-wise details as yes, okay, and you have an opening balance over here, it will ask for the bill-wise detail. This is where you need to give the bill number, against which bill number, how much money is pending to be paid. So bill number 456, okay, due by 31st March 2019, 18,000 rupees. Okay, then I have one more bill number 763 by 31st March, 12,000 rupees. So this is how you need to give the breakup of the bill-wise details. Hope this is clear. Okay, you could save this. Okay, this is how you could create the ledgers. Any number of ledgers you can go on creating. Okay, so any more questions on how to create ledgers in Tally? See, these are two things are very important, the groups and the ledgers, because ultimately all your reporting depends on which ledger you have selected and it is linked to which group. So always all the ledgers are linked to any one of the group, and that group ultimately can go to any of the four categories. Either it can become an asset or it can become a liability. So appropriately it will show in your balance sheet on the assets or on the liability side, or the ledger to which you are linking the group can be an income or an expenditure category. If it is an income category, on the profit and loss account it will show you on the credit side. If it is an expense category, on profit and loss account it will show you on the debit side. Is this clear? Okay, so every ledger that you create should be linked to any of the groups. Okay, any of the groups. Without linking to the groups, Tally will not allow you to save the ledger. So once when it is linked to the group, we also know what kind of category it falls under. Fine, we will share all the contents that we have so that you could look at it. Okay, so hope this is clear to everyone. Similarly, okay, if I want to alter or if I want to delete some of the transaction or alter some of the transaction, some of the masters, say like example Chaitra Consultants. So I had made some spelling mistake. It's not Chaitra Consultants, it is Chaitra Consultancy. Okay, so I could go to alteration. So I could go to accounts info, ledger, alter, and I could do the alteration. Right? Control A is for save. So it will automatically change its name to Chaitra Consultancy Services. So if you need to alter any of the masters, you could go to alteration screen and do the alter. Say example Mohan Bandar, I don't require this, by mistake I have created this. So what could I do? I could even delete this. So how do I delete? I need to come to alteration screen. I'll just go to ledgers, alter, select, and I have an option here called Alt D. You could either use the keyboard as Alt D, or you could just click on this delete. If no transaction is associated to it, it will allow you to delete. If you just say accept this, this gets deleted. So if you want to delete any of the masters, it is well possible. You could just go to the master screen and click on delete. This gets, if you say yes, it gets deleted. If you say no, it doesn't get deleted. I'm just saying no, it didn't get deleted. Right? Is that clear? Similarly, you could delete the groups also, but while deleting the groups, if that is associated to any ledgers, it will not allow you to delete. Say example, I'll just show you. See, now if you just go to groups, display, list of accounts, and we are able to see all the groups. Right? So now example, can I delete sundry debtor central? Will Tally allow me to delete sundry debtor central? So example, I want to delete Jharkhand. Okay, so let us see whether can we delete Jharkhand. So I'll just click on enter. So it's on alteration screen. I'm just clicking on delete. It is accepting. Yes, I could delete this. Example, I'll just say yes, Jharkhand got deleted from my east. Now, if I want to delete sundry debtors east, is it possible? Let us see. I'm just going to alteration screen. Alt D itself is disabled. Alt D doesn't work. The reason being very simple. This group, under this group, there are already some of the subgroups. So if it will not allow me to delete this group, sundry debtor east, until and unless I delete all the subgroups. Only if I delete all the subgroups, then it allows me to see. Here again, I don't have, because the sundry debtor east has 3 more subgroups under it. So first I need to delete this, okay, and then delete this. So if I want to delete at one shot, so example, I want to delete all 3 states which are marked under east under one shot. Is it possible to delete at one shot? Yes, it is possible. I need to select like this. So for selection, you need to just go to that line and press on space bar. So it gets selected, press on space bar. So all these 3 have turned into blue, which has got selected. Now click on Alt D. Delete selected. Yes, all the 3 got deleted at once. So under sundry debtor east, no states are available. Now I could go and delete east also. Is this clear? Okay. Okay, so there is one question from Manjula. Can we update the address of debtors and creditors if we go through multiple ledger creations? Manjula, no, it's not possible, because in the multiple ledger creation screen, only the basic required fields are available, like the name of the ledger and which group it comes and what is the opening balance. Only 3 fields can be updated. But if you want to update all the other details like address, phone number, contact details, everything, then you need to create it one by one. Or we could help you to import from Excel. Okay, so that you need to discuss separately. It is not possible on default Tally. Hope I have answered you, Manjula. Right? Okay. So this is about your ledgers. Hope everyone is clear on how to create or alter the ledgers. Is there any questions? Can we move to the next topic? Okay. So the next is the voucher types. So when you come to Tally, again, when you go to accounting info, you have voucher types. Again, as I told you in default Tally, when you create company, all the voucher types are default or created. Okay. So which are all the voucher types that is required for our accounting purpose? There are only 6 voucher types that is required for our accounting purpose. Receipts, payments, purchase, sales, contra, journal. These are all the 6 types of vouchers which is required for our accounting purposes. Okay. So let us go to each of the voucher types. So here in default Tally, all these voucher types are already created. Say example contra. It's already created. Okay. Payment already created. Receipts already created. Journals already created. Purchase already created. Sales already created. All these voucher types are already there. Okay, only thing that you need to understand is if you need more voucher types, how to create that. If you have additional voucher types, how do you create the additional voucher types? So let me just give you an example. Okay, I have under payment, I have only one voucher type called as payment, right? But in specific in my requirement, I need separate voucher type for cash payment and separate voucher type for bank payment. Okay, so if there is the requirement of having different voucher types, we could create new voucher types also. So example, let me just say payment, cash. And again, you need to select under which default voucher type it is linked to. So this is linked to my default payment. And what is the method of voucher numbering? So voucher numbering can be automatic, where it will take, the system will automatically take the number, or you could say automatic manual override, while the system will show you the automatic numbering. If you want to change, you could change while doing the data entry. That is automatic manual override. The third is manual, so that the system will not give you any number, the user has to give the number. Multi-user auto, if any of the users are using on a multi-user environment, so since multiple people will be entering from different systems, that is required for multi-user auto, or you could also mention as none, where the voucher number itself will not be available. Okay, so for time being, let us just go with automatic. I could also use the advanced features. This will come to later. Effective dates mention as optional. Okay, all these things we could see at the later stage. And I have just saved one more additional voucher type. So under payment, I have 2 now, payment and cash payment. So like this, you could go on creating any number of voucher types that you require for your business. Okay, the next comes in the master. Similarly, if you want to go and alter, you could go and alter the masters. If you have typed it wrong name, you want to change the name, okay, or you want to change any of the specifications, it will allow you. And if you don't want this, you could also go and click on delete and delete this. Okay, so in all the masters you have create display alter, create display alter, create display alter. And in groups and ledgers, you also have multiple create display and alter. Right? So this brings us to the end of the masters, accounting masters. Now let us go to accounting vouchers. So how do you do the voucher entry in Tally? To do the voucher entry, you need to come to accounting vouchers. So in accounting vouchers, when you click on accounting vouchers, default it has gone to payment. On the right hand side, you have all the voucher types. Say example, receipts. Click on receipt, it will go to receipt. Click on journal, it will go to journal. If you want to do sales, or if you want to do purchases, if you want to do journal, if you need to do contra, all the voucher types are available on your screen once when you click on voucher types. Okay, so let me start with receipt. I'm receiving money. Say example, a new business. Okay, Saraswati Traders has started a new business, and Saraswati, who is the owner, is bringing in capital, right? So on the 1st of April, I'm just doing one receipt entry. Saraswati capital account, amount is 1 lakh rupees. How did this money come? Okay, either through cash or she has given the check. Say example, I'll just say cash. Okay, so narration being cash from so narration is just a text for your understanding. What is this nature of the transaction? You want to have any details, you want to capture these details, and tomorrow you want to refer, you could type those things. Okay, and save. So I made my first entry. Okay, so I received 1 lakh rupees from Saraswati to start the business in cash. So that is what I made the receipt entry. Okay, now once when I make this entry, the beauty of Tally, the magic of Tally is, as you do the transaction till your balance sheet, the reports gets automatically updated. See here, capital account 1 lakh rupees. See what you need to understand. Okay, let me just take you through this transaction. What you need to understand in this transaction is important things. What is the date of the transaction? On which day you are doing this transaction? Very, very important. Second, the voucher number. What is the number of voucher number of this transaction? Important. Then, since I'm doing the receipt, it is asking for the credit ledger. Okay, so initially I had created Saraswati account, capital account. So I'm just selecting that. So if you look at Saraswati capital account, if you want to look at, so this is under capital. And this capital comes under liability side of the balance sheet. That is what you need to understand. Okay, then for every credit, there should be an equal debit to complete the transaction. So I'm receiving, how am I receiving it? Am I receiving through cash or through check or through an online bank transfer? How did we receive this money? So this is what we are saying we have received through cash. So when I look at this cash is default ledger that was created and it is under current assets. So it has to reflect on my assets side of the balance sheet. So though both are balance sheet ledgers, and I've just saved this transaction. So now if I look at my balance sheet has got automatically updated. So example, Saraswati capital account 1 lakh rupees, and under cash in hand I have 1 lakh rupees. So in Tally, the magic of Tally is you need to just do the masters and transactions. Reportings are default taken care by Tally. Up till your balance sheet, everything is taken care by Tally directly. Right? Okay. So now let us just move. Let us do one more transaction for payment. Now I need to do a payment entry. So I'm paying for some office puja expenses, or landlord. I need to pay an advance of 25,000 rupees for my landlord, for my office. So I'm doing a payment entry, and on what date I'm paying this. Say example, I'm paying it on 3rd of April. So first thing is I need to change the date. To change the date, F2 is the shortcut key. or you could go and use your mouse. On your keyboard, if you just click on F2, it will ask for the voucher date. So example, I'm just saying it's on 3rd of April. So on the right hand side, you could see the date. It is 3rd of April 2019. It's Wednesday. So when I'm making a payment, to whom am I making a payment? Why am I making a payment? Say example, in this example, I'm telling you we are giving an office rent deposit of 25,000 rupees. Okay, so it should be rent deposit, but I don't have this ledger by name rent deposit. It's saying there is no ledger by name rent deposit and it's an error. So what will I do? I have two options. Go back to gateway of Tally, go to accounts info, ledger, create and create there and come back, or on the transaction screen, just press Alt C for create. If you just press Alt C, it will take you to the ledger creation screen directly. Here I could just enter rent deposit as the ledger, and under what it comes? It comes under current assets. It's a current assets for us because this rent deposit, when we leave the premises, we will get back this money. So I'm just saying I'm paying 25,000 rupees. How am I paying this? I'm paying through cash or through bank, whichever the way we want to pay. Say example, I'm paying through bank, HDFC Bank, 25,000 rupees. What is the transaction type? So here we have transaction type where you could say whether through check or through online transfer or through any other mode. So example, I'm just saying I'm paying through check. When I'm paying through check, so it has automatically taken the check number because we had defined the check numbers, which are the checks that is available. It has automatically taken the check number. Okay. Being rent deposit paid. Save the transaction. So payment 1 is done. Now if I go back to this transaction, so this transaction is what? Rent deposit is what? Asset. Bank is what? Bank is also an asset. Okay, asset is getting and asset is getting debited and asset is getting credited. Okay, so I'm doing the payment entry. Now if I look at my balance sheet or the final reports, okay, so it's available over here. Bank is showing minus 25,000 because we didn't have the opening balance. Okay, so it's as good as OD. Right? And to that extent, I have rent deposit. Is this clear? How to do the transaction? Okay. Now let me take you through one more transaction. So today I have 1 lakh rupee in my cash. Okay, so what I'm telling is, I'm telling my accountant to go and deposit 80,000 rupees to bank. Go and make a cash deposit. So what kind of entry that we are going to do for this? If you need to deposit cash to the bank, what is the nature of transaction it is? Can anyone tell me on the chat what is the nature of transaction? Yes, it's contra entry. We need to make a contra entry to deposit cash or withdrawal of cash. So on the right hand side, you have that contra. Just go and click on this. It's a contra entry that you are doing. So I'm just changing the date. Example, I'm just saying it is 5th of April. Okay. So since I'm depositing cash, what gets credited and what gets debited? My cash gets credited, 80,000 rupees, and my bank, HDFC Bank, gets debited. So once when I use this, I'm depositing cash. That is what it is showing me. Nature of transaction is cash. Now you also get the denomination screen. So you are depositing 80,000 rupees. Which are all the notes that you are depositing? Okay, you could also update this. Say example 2000 into 10, 20,000, balance 60,000. Okay, now we don't have 1,000 rupee notes. 550, 25,000, 45,000 is left out. 200 into 50, 10,000, 25,000 is left out. 100 into 200, 20,000, 5,000 is left out. 50 into 50, 2,500. So like this, you can go on adjusting. Okay, so this is how the denominations that you could give. You could just update here. Cash deposited to bank. Okay, now again, the magic of Tally, the beauty is you just go to your balance sheet, everything has got updated. See, your cash has become 20,000, your bank has become 55,000 because you made a 25,000 payment to your landlord and 80,000 was deposited, so it has now become 55,000. Clear? Next, let us go to one purchase entry. Okay, so to do purchase, when you go to voucher entry on the right hand side, you have shortcut key purchase, or you could just click on F9 on your keyboard. Okay, so here what we will do is we'll just use it as a voucher. Okay, so that it's easier for us to understand. Then we'll come to this thing. Okay, so on the purchase screen, what are all the additional details that you will get? Because any purchase will have the purchase bill reference number. You need to have the bill reference number and the date. So if you have the bill reference number, you could give that bill reference number. Then the credit. So there are two kinds of purchase. One, you will make a cash purchase or you will make a credit purchase. If it is a credit purchase, you have to track the party's payable account. Correct? So now let me just take a credit purchase. Okay, so example, I have a supplier from whom I have purchased. It's Nandan Electronics. Okay, Nandan Electronics, it's not available in the list. So what do? I'll just click on Alt-C, create as the ledger, and they are my suppliers who comes under sender creditors. I want bill by bill details. 15 days of credit I'm going to get. Address, if I have the address, I could update all these details. Okay, so now it has automatically got saved. Okay, so what is the value? 50,000 rupees. Purchase I have done. See here, if you look at new reference number, it has automatically taken the bill number as the reference number. It has automatically taken 15 days of credit. So I'm supposed to pay by 20th of April. Okay, so debit is what? Purchase account. Again, purchase ledger is not there. What will I do? I need to create one ledger. Again, Alt-C for creation. Purchase, example, local. Which should come under which group? Purchase accounts. Okay. So the narration, whatever the narration that you want, you just update this. I've done the purchases. Now, how will this have the effect? Say, example, if I just go to the transaction, purchase, Nandan Electronics has got credited and purchase has got debited. Nandan Electronics is under sundry creditors, which is under liabilities. So it should show on the liability side of the balance sheet. while purchase is my expenses, it should show under debit side of my profit and loss account. Correct? So if I look at the final report in the balance sheet, it is showing under current liabilities because it's under sundry creditors, right? At the same time, when I go to my P&L account, profit and loss account, my purchase is showing me 50,000 rupees. This is what the purchase entry I have made. Hope this is clear. Okay. Let me just look at the chat. Some of the people are saying Alt plus C. Yes, it is Alt plus C for creation. Okay. So Shilpi is asking, there are two dates, one adjacent to supplier bill number. Can it be later than the entry date? And will that add my inventory as supplier bill date? See, the transaction date is one and there is one supplier bill date. Always supplier bill date can be earlier to transaction date, but not after the transaction date. Say example, I'll just show you over here. We have made this transaction. Okay, so let me just go to display daybook. So there is a purchase entry. So the transaction date is what is my 5th of April, where my cursor is currently. The supplier bill date, either it can be 5th of April or earlier to 5th of April, but it cannot be the date after 5th of April, because I am not doing a purchase for a future. I'm just recording whatever the purchases that I have made currently. So here, this date can be 4th of April also. It will still accept, but you can't give as 6th of April. So it will just stop here because your purchase bill date is after the transaction date. Okay, so hope I'm able to clarify your doubt. Impact on inventory for this transaction. Okay, we could discuss when we look at inventory, but as you are asking, I'm just telling you, it will affect on the voucher date itself. So in this example, it will affect on 5th of April, not on the 4th of April. Okay, if you wanted to get effect on 4th of April, then you need to first pass the GRN, that is the goods receipt note, on 4th of April and make purchase entry on 5th of April. Okay, that we can discuss when we are looking at the advanced inventory, how to do all those things. So any other questions before we move to the sales transaction? Okay. So now let us move further. Okay. The next transaction is, when I go to the voucher entry, the next transaction is my sales. I'm doing a sale. Say example, I'm just changing the date to 6th of April. Okay, now I want to do a sale entry. Okay, so to whom am I selling? So the first thing is I need to select the party. To whom am I selling? Anand Traders. Example, I'm just taking Anand Traders. Okay, 80,000 or 90,000 rupees sales. Okay, this is a credit sale. I'm giving him 15 days of credit. So by 21st, I need to receive this money. Credit is what? I need to take sales account. Sales account is not created. So I'm just creating with Alt C. Sales account comes under sales account group. So I'm just giving the narration and saving this transaction. Now if I go back to this transaction, Anand Traders is under sundry debtors, sales account is under income. Okay, so it is affecting both my income side of P&L account and asset side of my balance sheet. Correct? So if I just go to my balance sheet, I'll be able to look at under sundry debtors. Say there is 1.7 lakhs. If I just click on enter, there is South. Under South, there is Karnataka. Under Karnataka, there is Bangalore. Under Mysore, I have Anand Traders. So this is how I get to know the breakups. Right? Similarly, if I look at my profit and loss account, on the sales side, I have this on the sales side of my account. 90,000, which is coming under my sales account on income side of the profit and loss. Is this clear? Okay, so let me just look at if anyone has any questions. So there is some question saying, can we put GST tax amount in purchase and sales? Yes, you could put. When we take up GST, we will discuss that. GST topic, we'll discuss that. Okay, this is the basics that what we are discussing. Sales against purchase orders issued by the customer. You want to update the purchase order number? Yes, it will be possible. We'll look at it when we are looking at the inventory modules also. Okay, fine. So like this, you could go on doing the data entry. Okay, the next transaction is basically, if I want to say what is the next transaction, is the journal. So the journal, when do you use this journal? Basically, you use the journal if you want to account a bill, okay, or if you want to account some of the expenses, or if you want to pass the adjustment entries at the end of the month. Okay, so let me just say, my landlord has given a rent bill, but I'm not paying him today. I'm paying him after 20 days. So he has given me a bill on 1st of April, but I'm supposed to pay it only on 20th of April. But I need to account it as I get the bill on day 1, right? So how do we do that? So for all those things, we need to use journals, making it as, in this example, what I told you, we can make this as payable entry. So let me just take, okay, let me just change this date. I've got a bill on 8th. Okay, so bill reference number, my landlord has given bill number 123456. The date of the bill was 1st of April. So what should get debited and what should get credited? So the rent account should get debited, office rent account should get debited, and my landlord should get credited. So how do I do that? So my office rent, it's not available. I have only the rent deposit. I'll just say create office rent, Alt C for create, and this is basically my expenses. Okay, so this is my expenditure. Office rent 10,000 rupees, credit to landlord. Landlord is Vikram landlord. Okay, so they are my sundry creditors, basically are suppliers. I could update all their address details, all these details I could update. Okay, so 10,000 rupees. It's a new bill reference number. I'm getting 20 days of credit. Means I'm supposed to pay by 28th, because on 8th of the day I'm just accounting the bill. Okay, and I'm supposed to pay by 28th. being office rent bill accounted. So if you look at this transaction, okay, debit has gone to the expenses, which is office rent. Credit has gone to sundry creditors, which is on the liabilities, because it's a liability that I'm supposed to pay. Okay, so now if I look at how my reporting purpose, if I look at my balance sheet, it's already available on my sundry creditors. See, the Vikram landlord is available 10,000 rupees. I could go till transaction and do any edits if required. Is this clear? Do you have any questions? Okay, let me just look at, there are some few chat messages. Why it is coming under indirect expenses? Shama Jahan is asking a question, why is it coming under indirect expense? Because office rent is an expense. Okay, so there are two kinds of expense. One is direct expense and the second is indirect expense. So the difference between direct and indirect is, direct expense have the direct impact on my trading. So example, I'll just tell you an example of direct expenses. Transportation charges is my direct expense. I will do the transportation only if I do the purchase. Otherwise, why will I incur transportation expenses? That is my direct expense. Versus office rent, whether I do purchase or sale, whether I do business or I sit quiet. Say now there is a lockdown period for next 3 weeks. Will your landlord ask for rent or not? You have to pay rent irrespective whether you do business or not. So this doesn't have any direct impact on your purchase or sales. So all the expenses which doesn't have a direct impact on your trading, it has to be under indirect expenses. All the expenses which has direct impact on your trading, like it might be a transportation expense, it might be an insurance, it might be a power charges, wages, these are all your direct expenses. So that's the reason the office rent comes under indirect expenses. Hope I'm clear. Rajesh is asking, if the rent has TDS, how to enter it? Rajesh, we will look at this when we do a topic on TDS. Okay, so there is one topic on TDS. If you could just go through our contents. Okay, there is one complete session on TDS. Once when we do that, we'll certainly take up this and say how do we do this. But for your default, yes, you could just create one more ledger called TDS on rent, and you could take that. Okay. So now based on this, the advantage, the magic of Tally is all your reports are auto-generated. You need not worry. And things like totaling, your numbering, all those things are taken care. All right. So do you have any questions on this? Okay, we could just go back to our presentation. Hope we have dealt with all type of transaction, receipts, payments, purchase, sales, contra. Right? So what I would suggest is, each one of you, okay, if you already have Tally, create one new company and try it out, all these things. Okay, if you do not have Tally and you have computers there, please install, download one Tally, install an educational version of Tally. You could use it for your training purpose. Okay, it's free of charges. You need not pay for it. Educational version of Tally is available. Right? Okay, so if there are any questions, can we move on? Okay, as mentioned in the morning, these are our contact details. If you want any support, any help, okay, you could call any of these numbers. Okay, you have our email address is also there. Okay, so what I would expect is in the morning also I told, okay, was this session helpful to you to have a basic understanding of Tally? Can everyone type on chat, yes, it was useful, or no, it was not useful, so that we get a feedback? Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm getting a lot of inputs. Yes, it was helpful, it was useful. Good. Okay, so as we have our contact details, one more request that I have with all of you. Okay, if you can make 1-minute video from your mobile and share it with us on what was your experience in today's online training. Okay, so your inputs will give us a lot of insight. Okay, your feedbacks are very important to us. Okay, please share, make one video for 1 minute and share it to my mobile. It's 9902016176. Okay, it will be of great help from you if you could just make 1-minute video and share. So how many of you will share making this video? Can you just type on chat, yes, I will make video? How many of you want to give your feedback through video? 1-minute video, if you could just shoot from your mobile and share it with us. Okay, Nagraj, I'll expect a minute video. Okay, so please do this video and share it with us. Okay, it will be more helpful. Okay, and we need your feedback. Okay, what we need to improve. Okay, please email your feedback. Please email your feedback if you have any feedback to us. Okay, on this mail ID, mahesh@memhsi.com or client.services. If there is any improvements that you expect from us, okay, please put those points, okay, and send it on mail so that we will ensure that your feedbacks are taken care and we will ensure that you get more quality trainings. Okay, so before we close, let us just look at what are the topics that we are discussing tomorrow. Tomorrow, the first session will be on inventory masters and inventory vouchers, which includes the accounting vouchers also. As today we discussed on accounting masters and accounting vouchers, tomorrow morning session will be discussing on inventory masters and inventory vouchers. And in the second session, we will be discussing on receivables and payables management, that is bill wise outstanding, how to track bill wise outstanding in Tally. Okay, so these are all the two topics that tomorrow we'll be discussing. I request each one of you to attend. Okay, who are all attended today, please share these details with your colleagues, with your relatives, friends who are using Tally on day-to-day basis, and even they can make use of this sessions. Okay, so this complete sessions, we believe it will be helpful for all of you to learn Tally and become experts. So if you have any queries, please put it on chat so that we could take all these things. Abhishek is asking to give our numbers again. Abhishek, our numbers are on the screen. You could record these numbers. Manish mobile number, Manjunath's mobile number is there, my mobile number is there. Okay, office landline is there, but office landline, I don't know who will be able to pick because most of us are working from home. Okay, and the mail IDs are available. Okay, you could interact to us on any of these numbers. Okay, so each one of you, I strongly recommend, please do a 1-minute video and share it with us. And also don't forget to attend tomorrow morning 10 o'clock and the second session at 4 o'clock on the topics. Morning topic is about inventory management, inventory masters and inventory vouchers on Tally. And the second session at 4 o'clock is on receivables and payables management. Okay, so everyone, thank you for attending this. Again, let's connect